So welcome. Let's see here. So, hello and happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, our 7 o'clock energy update, which I do every Wednesday on Instagram and Facebook. My name is Meleah, if you don't know that, but hello. Hopefully you can hear everything okay. I am at my house in my dining room. I've got a somewhat loud aquarium bubbling, so hopefully you can hear me. Anyway, but I have been industrious today. I already did some pre-recorded intuitive messages for everyone. Those are almost finished uploading onto YouTube. So I would imagine that when our live is done, that those intuitive message readings will be already uploaded onto YouTube. You can check out my YouTube channel. It is, if you just go to youtube.com/, you can do the little app button, and then Inner Perfect 1111, then that will take you to my channel. And I post all of our energy updates on there, meditations, things like that. And I went ahead and, like I said, posted 3 separate intuitive message readings for you all. So go check that out in a little bit. It's still uploading, but it should be ready soon. So in energy updates past, I have sometimes really heavily focused on the astrological influences coming in, different transits and all of that. And we'll sprinkle a little bit of astrology in this week's energy update, but I'm really feeling guided to provide, kind of more channeled insight for you. And that's one of the things I do. I started doing the intuitive message readings, earlier today that I recorded, and it's like I just didn't want to stop. I just kept saying, "Ooh, let's do another one. Ooh, let's do another one." So that's really when I'm like in my zone. So welcome to you all who have hopped on here. I appreciate you popping onto the live. Hopefully, I can capture your interest for a little bit. So. We are, astrologically speaking, we are in, of course, a bunch of retrogrades still, but one of the shifts that have happened since our last energy update is that Venus retrograde has now ended. Venus stationed direct in Leo on the 3rd of September, about 9:20 p.m., I believe. And when a planet stations, it means it kind of like, quote unquote, stops its retrograde motion or its appearance of retrograde, and it will actually kind of like hover and stand still for a little bit, and then it starts its forward direct movement again. And with any retrograde, there is a shadow period moving, into the retrograde and then out of the retrograde. We should be completely out of the Venus retrograde shadow by September 12th. So today's the 6th, so in less than a week, everything should be full steam ahead in your Venus life. So that's our love, our relationships, our friendships, and also like our finances. So if you have had sluggishness, if you have had friction, if you have had revisits from themes from the past during this retrograde period of Venus, which it was about 40 days, we are getting ready to move forward. Hopefully those lessons, those clarifications that we kind of reviewed during the retrograde, everything is kind of, integrated now, and then we can take that knowledge and that energy and move forward into bigger and better things, right? We do have Jupiter retrograde, which actually happened the same day that Venus went direct, Jupiter went retrograde. And Jupiter is the planet of like luck. A lot of times it's associated with luck, fortuitous energy. And with Jupiter retrograde, it doesn't mean that we're going to have bad luck while it's retrograde, as much as it really means that we might want to kind of dive into what we enjoy doing, what brings us joy, what brings us positivity, kind of do like a little mental pros and cons inventory, and help really kind of get back in alignment with things that help us kind of vibe high. I think it's a less dramatic, retrograde, where people are like, oh my gosh, Venus retrograde, oh my gosh, Mercury retrograde. But Jupiter retrograde hopefully will be, again, kind of like for some review and introspection, just kind of reprioritizing things during this retrograde of Jupiter. Now, we are in Mercury retrograde still. Mercury retrograde is still ongoing until about the middle of the month. You may have some somewhat like technical difficulties, communication mishaps, some difficulty like expressing yourself or communicating, being heard, understanding other people. That's all normal, in regards to Mercury retrograde. But hopefully you maybe, caught an energy update or had an intuitive nudge. And heeded some of those feelings before Mercury went retrograde to, check the oil in your car, get some maintenance done, like clear out some emails, kind of like prepare yourself for the potential of a little bit of, kind of frustrating energy with the Mercury retrograde, so that you could maybe use this time, more chance for review, but when it really comes to our communication, how we want to present ourselves, the ways that we communicate in our relationships, in our agreements and interactions and contracts with others. Of course, it's always, recommended that you don't enter any certain serious agreements, contracts, marriages, leases, things like that during Mercury retrograde. And it's not that those things would necessarily 100% fall apart, but it could definitely, with the retrograde energy, it could just be like lost paperwork. It could be some miscommunication, not understanding the terms of the agreement, things like that. So it's best to kind of put off formal contracts, agreements, commitments until Mercury goes direct again, which, like I said, will be the middle of the month. But if you have to, if you absolutely have to sign something, go have an agreement or whatever, at least make sure that you are reading all the fine print. You're really clear on what your expectations are, and then what the other expectations are of you as well. Okay, so we do have a new moon coming soon. We had our blue full moon on the 30th of this month, so around the middle of the month we will be having the new moon again, because as you know, we have after the moon is full, the energy starts waning, and then in about 2 weeks we have the new moon. So the new moon, as always, gives us an opportunity for a fresh start, for also letting go of energies that no longer serve us, that we might have kind of been carrying with us. And with Mercury getting ready to go direct the middle of the month, us being out of the shadow period of Venus retrograde as well by the 12th, and then this new moon energy too, there's really going to be kind of this positive just kind of like wave of like, wow, there's so little resistance, there's so many possibilities and potentials as well. So it would be wonderful now, between now and the middle of the month, to kind of get all of your ducks in a row. I know that retrogrades can be frustrating sometimes. We have other planets in retrograde too. I mean, it is retrograde season. But to really let yourself use this review or the slowing down energy to just really, like I said, get your ducks in a row, like do that mental inventory, do a pros and cons list, whatever it is, get things sorted and straightened out so that you can really free up your energy, so that you can start really focusing on zeroing in on what you want to bring about. We are still in Virgo season right now, which can have a very kind of organized, very, kind of detail oriented energy. You may be finding that you are really kind of feeling called to be focusing on your body, on your health. What is health to you? What is like financial health, your environment, and then your temple, your body. And it's not like I'm saying you should be criticizing or critical of yourself, of your body, of your habits, of anything like that. But it's a great time to kind of use that Virgo energy and then this review energy of some of the retrogrades, just to say, what have I outgrown? What still really, really works that I might want to like focus on even more, kind of have more of that. And then what just doesn't work, anymore? What doesn't suit the person that I am in this energy right now? And as we are, moving in still through late summer into fall, still in Virgo season, and then we have, Libra season coming in at the end of September. We are really given this opportunity to get things kind of settled in position, jockeyed in position to how we would like our fall to go, how we would like the closing down of summer, and for fall, like how do we want to experience that? What harvests do we want to enjoy in this time? So I think that it's a good time. There's maybe a little bit of sadness as that summer is coming to an end. It's still hotter than crap outside, but we are starting, I think we're seeing like a lot of these like rain and thunderstorms and stuff in our area. A little bit of moodiness coming in, and I guess the sadness, and maybe it's just me, because I'm not, I hesitate to say this, but I'm just not really a winter person. But it's kind of like when you go on vacation and then your vacation, is coming to an end. And then all of a sudden, instead of being like, oh, this is so great, I'm like so relaxed and everything's wonderful, then you start going, oh no, I'm dreading having to pack up. I'm dreading to, have to leave the vacation to be end. And it's like, it might rob you of your joy, of the last couple days of your vacation. Right. So, but what I'm saying is that, with summer, it's the peak of light. We have all this sunlight, and then fall. I mean, fall in Tennessee is so beautiful, right? We start getting that milder weather, the colors and all of that, it's fantastic. But of course, we get a lot of rain, usually in the fall. But of course, the rain really helps enhance the fall colors that we get too. If we have a real dry fall, then it's like the colors aren't as bright. So, but as we kind of move more into late summer, fall, harvest, and kind of start going, okay, this is, not that fall isn't at its own season, right? Fall is its own season, which I love so much. My birthday is in October. I'm a Libra, so I've always loved fall. But then it's I know it's right around the corner. It's oh gosh, it's going to start getting cold. It's going to start, winter is coming, right? But there's really a lot of time. My cat is getting ready to jump. Oh, did you see my phone moved? I was like, oh no, she's going to jump and knock everything over. But as we are in fall, it's still a time of like celebrating the harvest energy, going, wow, like look at all of the things, this abundance, this bounty, from the summer time, the high sunlight. Did you hear my quail? I have animals all over here. Oh my gosh, they like the music that's playing in the background. So anyway, it's, fall has its own very special, sweet energy, but we know that it's kind of transitioning, right? Transitioning to winter. So, I hope that you can enjoy, the rest of Virgo season, Libra season, enjoy these beautiful, still warm and sunny days that we're having. Like, I know, like, I'm got my garden in a little bit later this year than I normally do, and I'm still picking like squash and zucchini and like all my flowers that I planted, sunflowers and zinnias, and all the things are like, yay, we're so happy. I mean, it's a little hot, but they're flowers and they get a lot of sun, and they're loving it, and it just brings me so much joy. But it's like the animal in me, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, okay, well, I need to like, maybe do some seed saving. I want to save seeds for next year. All the flowers and plants that I planted were organic and heirloom, so they'll be able to reproduce, so I want to save some of those seeds so that I can plant those again next year. So it's just like getting your house in order, right? That's good Virgo energy. But then Libra, so we move into that as Venus, and it's just all about like what we enjoy, and it's all about like what brings us beauty and joy. And there can be so much like fertility of ideas and inspiration in that energy as well. So I feel like in a way there's like a lot to do, kind of to stay like not just motivated, but to stay on top of things, on top of energies, preparing for the fall, preparing for the winter. But then I also feel like it's like we don't want to forget to enjoy what's going on, to enjoy the present, and but this is I'm kind of feeling like shifting gears here right now, but I'm kind of getting this message that I don't want to be like an intuitive like doomsayer, doom and gloomer, but I do feel like it is important for all of us to prepare, to be prepared, whatever that means to you. Woo, that's my cat again. And it's it's not just on the practical level of, like winter is coming and we want to, make sure that we've got, those things in order. We're prepared for winter. It's like literally like buying like daylight spectrum bulbs maybe to have in your house so that you got a little more sunlight, right? Like that's a good thing to prepare with. But I also feel like there's always this battle, I guess, of I don't want to say good and evil, but of like a contracted energy and an expanded energy. And we hear of and we talk about like these timelines and ascension and moving to like the fifth dimension and all of these things, which at least I hear about those things because those are the kinds of like podcasts I listen to and like videos I watch and stuff. When we have been shifting, we are shifting, and I've talked about this in several of the energy updates that I've done. But I feel like I'm not saying that like 2020 and like the chaos that was 2020 was like the kickoff point. There's always kind of like there's stuff that kind of, like brews, that kind of like shows us kind of what's coming down the pipeline. But that was a pretty big shift for all of us, 2020, just into the first of the year. And now we're in 2023, right? Like we're in 2023. This has been, all of this weirdness and all the things that we all went through it's been going on for a while. But I don't know like what kind of news you guys watch. I don't know, kind of where you get your information, all of that. But, there's stuff going on all over the world, right? It's just not us here in the US. I mean, there's stuff going on all over. And whereas I don't want to say like things are awful, I mean, there are some things that are like chaotic, and like governments like Africa, like who's coming in, and there's like food shortages, and there's still the grain shortage, and then there's like the interest rates going up here, in the US, and all this currency stuff, blah blah blah, whatever, right? All the things that you can just fill your awareness with. And I'm the kind of person that likes to stay like aware and kind of be like, okay, I kind of see what's going on here, and like really what's going on, not just what I'm being like spoon fed going on, but it's like, I'm not dwelling. I'm just like, cool, I got a status check, maybe have a couple of things to kind of, make sure I'm aware of, want to look out for, or whatever. And then I just kind of keep doing what I'm doing. But that's all to say that I feel that things are continuing to shift and change. And as the world is all connected, and all the economies are connected, and like the supply chain and all of these things, I mean, they're all interlaced. And then we have like the West, which is like, the US, and then like Europe, and then we have Asia, and we have the BRICS thing. I don't know if y'all have like heard about that or looked into that, but anyway, there are a lot of shifts and changes happening with like the world economy, how the world deals with money, like, and all the things that are connected to that, how money is valued, and how, and then we see like things like inflation, like what the F is inflation, right? It's like, well, basically it's just saying that you need more of this money to buy something because of the value of the money, and the value of the stuff has changed or shifted. So as you all know, like when you go to the grocery store now, you're like, how did I spend $100 and I just have a couple of bags of groceries? Like it's interesting, right? And it kind of can sneak up on you, right? It's just like slowly been kind of moving towards that. But I seems like I almost complained about this in one of the other lives, but Evan, my little 8-year-old, like he picked out some cereal the other day at the grocery store, and we ring up and it was like $6.99, and I was like, did that ring up right? Like that seems really wrong. That's like double the price of what cereal should be, and it's like everything like that, right? So anyway, I don't need to talk about the economy and politics and just like, blah, whatever. But I just feel intuitively, and dude, I have felt this for years. And like when 2020 happened, COVID, blah, 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 all that stuff, I was like, holy cow, I think it's starting. But I have felt for a long time that there was going to be a huge shift that we went through, a huge shift, major changes. And with any kind of change, with any kind of shift, obviously it's just not like on off. It's not just like stop, start, whatever, or start, stop, start. It's, there is usually an ebbing in, and, some things happen, and there's a flowing out, and there's still some adjustments or whatever. So I feel like this change that we're going through, that we have the opportunity to kind of be birthed through and come out on the other side of, it's going to take a while. There's a lot of people on the planet, and a lot of structures and systems and all of this kind of stuff in place. And there's stuff that literally just like does not work anymore, that we have outgrown as a society, as cultures, as a paradigm. And I mean, stuff is there are things that are dying, that are done, that are ending. And there are so many beautiful new, I don't want to say utopia, but some major upgrades that are like happening. And sometimes it's just being aware of that. But a lot of times it's just like saying, okay, the change is inevitable. It's coming anyway. But, I'm going to walk into this and be ready and be so grateful for the truth and for the change. So, I feel like I haven't really gone on a tangent, but I kind of feel like I did. But circling back to the not wanting to be doom and gloom, but, just being prepared, I feel that you and I have the opportunity to step in the energy of autonomy, to step into the energy of being aware, being deserving of truth, of transparency, and also of being like autonomous, you know, like taking care of ourselves, taking care of our families. And what does that mean to you, right? It might mean something else to me that it means than it means to you, but you know, knowing like how food is grown, knowing how to prepare your own food, make food, preserve food, knowing how to be resourceful and say, oh, well, I can't get this, or this is maybe really expensive. So what alternative is there? Or can I make it myself, you know, for like less money? Collaboration with other people, all kinds of things. You know, we have access to being able to adapt, and yes, maybe compromise in some way, but it's kind of moving us into like a more balanced and cohesive way of living, of being. If you don't know like where your food comes from and you have no idea, like you're just like, well, it comes out of a can, or I just go to the restaurant or DoorDash just brings it to me, like, well, yeah, that's cool and all, but how hard is that on your budget? If DoorDash didn't work, or the internet went out, or the prices went astronomical, or whatever, like, how do you get your food? Do you know how to like grow basic stuff in like container gardens, like tomatoes and zucchini, or like some herbs or whatever? Like, we should be close and in touch with our food, our food. We should be able to love and interact with those plants as they're growing the food, and then we're going to nourish our body, and not all of us can be like homesteaders or, farmers. It's kind of like, I think that for so long, that was like a worthy enterprise, and then everybody's like, oh, like I'm not I want to be modern, and then now we're kind of like circling back where people are homesteading, people are urban gardening, they're having they're raising chickens or bees or whatever it is, which is awesome. We're coming back to that, but instead of going, oh, well, that's just a trend, or that's whatever, it's like we need to know how to just like provide for ourselves. And it's like, we don't even have to provide everything, like maybe like in the absolute most dire situations, like you're the only person left on the planet, maybe, but like we need to know how to, like, everybody's got maybe a green thumb for certain things, but maybe they have a hard time growing other things, or they're really good at doing some kind of providing for themselves, or they're good at making something, but they don't excel at growing, or they don't have a place to grow veggies or whatever it is. But so part of it is kind of like maximizing your space, your energy, your knowledge, and your education about how to provide for yourself, where you source what you need, where it comes from. But then it's also connection, and it's also community, and it's saying like, I'm really good at growing tomatoes, you're really good at growing corn, can we trade? So I have some tomatoes and some of your corn, and then you have some of my tomatoes and you have some of your corn too, right? Then it's like Mexican night, or whatever. So when we not only take responsibility for being like, doesn't have to be 100% self-sustaining, but to be more sustainable, to be more actively involved and like sourcing what we need, what we use, what we consume, but then also connecting with others and like giving back and like trading and bartering and all of these energy exchanges that are totally possible to us. I think that's really the human experience, because like I said, unless you're like the only person left on the planet or whatever, which more than likely, hopefully that won't happen, there are going to be others, and we have things of value and they have things of value, and we can exchange as well. And so I would encourage you in this time and any time to be aware, to be present, and to be in the loop with kind of the bigger picture, what's going on in the world, but also how that may trickle down and kind of affect you or affect your community or your family or whatever it is. But then also to take that personal responsibility to educate yourself, to learn how to grow your food, to learn it, how to be a good neighbor, and have that build that sense of community, to give back, to make sure that you are connected to, like I said, what you need, how you source what you need, what plants that just grow out in the wild are useful medicines, anything like that. Because the more that you are just knowledgeable and prepared, and it is so empowering. It is so empowering for you in case you need to tap into that knowledge or to those resources. But you can also share that information with your family, with your kids, with people that you meet, with your community. And when you do that, when you invest in your education and your awareness, true understanding of what it is to be a human, and all the things, we need food, we need bandages when we cut ourselves, we need healthy bodies to be able to walk through the snow if the road is too icy. I mean, I know my road, when it ices, and I live in the city and they salt roads, but sometimes they don't always salt my road. But even when they do salt it, when it's cold enough, nobody's getting up or down my road. So I need to try to be healthy enough to where I can walk somewhere if I need to. I'm not driving my car up or down that hill, but I need to be able to walk to where I need to go, or park my car at the top of the hill so it's safe, and then from there, go where I need to go when it's snowy. So, there's all these things that you can do just to be more connected with your humanness, but also feel prepared and empowered. And I hope that makes sense to you all. I'm probably preaching to the choir, it's I'm telling you things and you probably already know, but going back to this, this intuitive feeling that I've had since I was, I don't know, probably a late teen, early adult, was that there would be a major shift in my lifetime. And I was like, when's it going to happen? I felt it coming. And I feel that we are in part of that now. And I do not feel that we are on the end of it. There's still more stuff coming. And I'm excited about it. I'm the kind of person that's just bring it, shift change. I am looking forward to the newness and to the rebalancing and the harmonizing of all of this. But of course, there's a lot of inconveniences and crap, that gets stirred up and all of this as well. So yeah, be prepared, be connected, educate yourself on how to feed yourself, how to take care of yourself, and connect with people that know those things, or share your information, share your gifts, share your skill sets as well. Pass on that knowledge, right? I am so I'm Google this, Google that, I didn't even hardly take the time to look in a cookbook for a recipe or whatever. It's just so easy to Google something, or hey Alexa, whatever. But thank goodness, I still have cookbooks in case my internet goes out, right? If I needed that knowledge or whatever. So don't get so complacent and so lazy with the technology that we have, which is fantastic. It helps streamline things. It helps helps make our life more efficient, but it also can make us lazy. I remember when, before cell phones, when we had to memorize people's phone numbers. Do you remember that? When there were landlines, right? And then now it's everything's just stored in your phone, so you don't even have to really remember a number. You're just hey, pull up, call so-and-so, or you just kind of look up their number and click call or whatever. And of course, I know there's short-term memory storage and long-term memory storage. I can still remember phone numbers, that I remembered, learned when I was little. And I remember those, but then I'm I don't know. I don't remember stuff now. And I know that's partly short-term and long-term memory and where it's stored in your brain. I get that. And I'm 44, almost 45, so I know my brain's kind of full. But still, I know that as convenient and as wonderful as technology is, that, you know, it does make you kind of lazy, and those muscles of remembering, of knowing how to do stuff, of whatever, sometimes get a little weak. So, you know, I'm not saying you got to be like, you could, but I'm saying you don't have to be like like my grandmother was, and like do the crossword every day to keep her brain sharp, you know, but you could, you know, and do other things that kind of stretch you outside of your comfort zone, that keep your mental faculties strong, that keep your body strong, just so that you're, of course, available to like enjoy your life as much as possible. But then also just like be prepared for like whatever comes down the pipeline. Yeah. Because this winter, I'm not saying will be the most horrible winter ever, but there's the potential of a lot of stuff brewing that could not be fun. And I would rather be prepared and be like, bring the change, I got my bases covered, than, oh shit, I don't know how to do anything, I don't have anything stored, you know, I'm completely cut off. Why would you put yourself in that position? Please don't. Please prepare yourself in whatever ways you need to or feel are right for you. So anyway, all of my intuitive card pulls that I did 3, actually I did 4, but 1 accidentally deleted, so oh well. I guess that one wasn't meant to come through, but I have 3 intuitive messages in the video that I've uploaded onto YouTube. I would guess that it is probably live on YouTube now. So I will end this live with you all right now, unless you all have any questions. I don't see any questions here. If you all have any questions real quick, I definitely can answer those for you to the best of my ability. But if I don't have any questions, then I will end this live broadcast, and then I'm going to double check YouTube. But like I said, YouTube is Inner Perfect. It's the at Inner Perfect 1111. Just go to youtube.com/at Inner Perfect 1111, and you can check out the messages that came through for the collective, maybe for individuals. Yep, I don't see any questions, so I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and yeah, just keep doing the thing, and I will see you all next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And if you ever miss, you know, the video, the lives, you can always catch the replay. Facebook, Instagram posts a replay in full, and then I'll kind of edit it down usually and then put it on YouTube as well. So hope you all have a good evening, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.